more information is coming out about the assassination attempt on Trump. It just keeps getting worse, I guess. So here's a little bit from Josh Hawley. Let me bring that up for you.
Senator Josh Hawley's been in contact with whistleblowers and has new information he's going to exclusively share with us here at Primetime. So what now are we hearing from whistleblowers, Senator?
Well, what I've heard tonight, Jesse, is that most of the agents who were there at that rally in Butler were not Secret Service agents. They were, in fact, Homeland Security agents. And get this, most of those Homeland Security agents, the only training that they received was an online webinar, a 2-hour online webinar. And I'm told that about half the time, the sound to the webinar didn't even work. So think about this. The president of the United States, former president of the United States, Donald Trump, is sent out on stage. Most of the people there aren't trained. They're not qualified. They only got a webinar training, and even that didn't work. It is absolutely outrageous.
Senator Josh Hawley's been...
Yeah. So his regular Secret Service detail, most of them had that weekend off. I think they were forced to have that weekend off. If that is correct, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. DHS was brought in, poorly trained. Crooks did his gun training at a gun range that was frequented by government officials, by law enforcement, federal law enforcement. Again, there's cell phone tracking of someone being at Crooks's house and also being at or near FBI buildings within Washington, D.C. Crooks information just came to light that Crooks, even though he didn't have an online presence, he did with Gab, in which he expressed more liberal leanings. He also had crypto-locked messaging stuff, I think, on his phone. Like the narrative that is being pushed out is not matching the evidence that is coming out. Because he's not a lone wolf that didn't have any presence, and he was a conservative, except Gab shows that he wasn't conservative. He did have an online presence. He was more leftist leaning, and he had training at a gun range that a lot of FBI might go to. When I spoke to someone about this recently, they were like, "Oh, it's because the best go to the president, and people in office, president's wife would be included in that. That's why second or third or last tier goes to Trump. It's just because you save the best for the best." Okay. Maybe that makes sense, but wouldn't you train them properly? Why is it that the first shot that hit Crooks was from local SWAT and not from the Secret Service counter sniper team? That seems odd. There was also information saying that they weren't really checking people at that place, so people could walk in with literally anything they wanted to. That's not standard procedure. Another thought that I had this morning, which I would really like to find out, if what my friend said is accurate, that Biden would get the top tier of the Secret Service, and then whatever's left goes to people that aren't in office. What does Obama have? Does he have DHS replacement, sometimes Secret Service people that are really poorly trained? I would probably say no, probably not. What about Fauci? He's no longer a government official. He's retired, but he does have Secret Service protection. Is his Secret Service protection actually just DHS that's been poorly trained, or is it actually trained Secret Service protection? I'm going to say he's probably got actual Secret Service, not DHS with poor training. But again, that's hypothesis at that point. I don't know what type of detail Fauci has, what type of detail Obama has, and I don't know who all else has Secret Service details. I'm assuming there's a bunch. If there's quite a few people that have Secret Service protection, and they are not actively being targeted, like the FBI came out and said that Trump was the target from Iranian threats, why wasn't his Secret Service protection bumped up? Why was it dropped down? There's a whole lot of this that doesn't make sense. And I know people love to say, oh, conspiracy theory. I'm just wondering why all of these things don't make sense. The idea out there is, by a lot of people, is either they made it happen or they let it happen. One or the other. I guess it could be mass incompetence. That could be the third, that because Biden's so important that they have to keep him protected while he's sitting on his beach chair in Rehoboth Beach, or sitting at the White House, or sitting in one of his houses, not going around doing anything. That was before Kamala took over and all that other stuff. But Trump's out there almost all the time doing rallies and stuff. If he has a serious threat from a foreign actor, you would think that he'd have increased Secret Service, not decreased. I would love to know more, and I hope that more information keeps coming out. I assume the more information we get, the more of a black eye the Secret Service will get, and potentially the FBI will get, and potentially the DHS will get, and trust in the government will further erode, which is really sad. I would prefer that we had a government that everyone trusted. That we had a government that had like above 50% trust. Up to 80% trust would be wonderful. And once upon a time, that's what the government had. But the more the government lies to you and tricks you and tries to hide things from you, the less you're able to trust your government. How would it be possible for you to trust someone or something that continually lies to you and misleads you and prevents you from learning the truth? Even if it's for your own good, it still diminishes trust in that organization or that individual if they're always lying to you, always trying to deceive you for your own good. It doesn't make sense. It's not good for that individual or group. It's not good for government that nobody trusts it. At least I don't think so. Because the less you trust the government, the less you think that the government has your best interest at heart, and the less you're willing to go along with the facade of the government being there for your best interest, because it's lying to you all the time. All the time. Why? It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, that's all I've got for this one. If you like what I have to say, please like, share, subscribe. If I'm completely off base, let me know in the comments down below. Please. I hope I'm off base. I want to be wrong on all this. I want to trust the government. But I can't. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.